Yo, Abusan for Mame and taking this opportunity in time and welcome on that Minamose for joining in on today's session. As I mentioned last week, Platform Way was a platform that was created senior by in Naibishiana. Yeah, did the home come or yeah to your home for based on different topics. And once again, last week, you started talking about fear. And as part of that, in a whole lot of discussions, we looked at advantages, we looked at disadvantages of fear, and we looked at what fear in itself is. And into this week, we are continuing with that same theme of fear. But Nami Pesa share a choir, fear can be a distraction to our lives. Whether academics, whether starting a new business, whether going into a relationship, or whatever you want to pursue in life, how does fear serve as a distraction, or how can fear serve as a distraction? So the floor is open. Let's have a chat.
Rasamir, what was the question again?
I was asking, say, how can fear serve as a distraction against our normal daily life and also whatever we want to pursue in life, whether academics, whether relationship, starting a new business, which I think is the big one. How does fear serve as a distraction? Or how can fear serve as a distraction?
So wait, starting like a new business, I would say you probably doubt yourself, say, oh, will people buy it? Meboka now, would I be able to be consistent, like supply good to know? And I said you doubt yourself, say if ubenya pocket now, would it you are expecting? And I said, what if so be Antona Meboka and I just say Ashigwa now, what if nobody buys my product or stuff? So I think that doubt, and that those kind of questions that you ask yourself because of the fear, could be a hindrance, and also starting, and then also not knowing where to start. Like you really don't know where to start. Me be out per se or start a business. You have really like no idea what kind of business to cry you want to go into. You ask yourself, say, like, do you have that business mindset, like the customer service skills, how to manage your finances, like all those stuff. So I feel like those questions will kind of open social business as and it does more than like the positive ones now. It might prevent you and not even discourage you from even trying.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Like for me, for instance, whenever I think about business, I personally don't see myself going into business. Not for the reason of say a day in a main year and answers, but I just feel say doing all the research that comes with it, dealing with people in general, no, that is not something that I feel comfortable to put myself in. Until I can say it may be due to my fear of dealing with people, but rather not failing, because failing there, I tend to see failure as a success, and that is not a fear of it. Okay, yeah, share what others think. What do you guys think about fear? Can fear serve as a distraction? If so, how?
I say yes, and because like I think Susie kind of explained it, and you kind of explained it. Like we get so caught up into like what other people think. So, for example, like what you said, like me starting my business, me starting my IG live, you starting your podcast and things. If one person listened to it, you wouldn't want to do it anymore because it's like, what's the point? Because you're not getting the people that you think should be listening to it. You're not getting the numbers that you want. But you have to understand that it's a process. It's a gradual process. You going from doing a podcast at home, for you having my sister as your promo intro person, to you having your own Zoom call, and it's all a process. And maybe today you have 10 people on it, and maybe next year you have 100 people on it. So you have to trust that process. But if you don't trust that process, understand that process, you kind of get caught up into the numbers and who's not looking and who's not promoting and who's not doing this. So it can be a distraction. I think also if you don't believe in what you're doing, that also could be a very big distraction, because if you're doing something just to have people like you, have people watch you, have people say, so, oh, Brass, I mean, he's doing a podcast, so this is that. If you're not doing the behind the scenes stuff to make it, to perfect it and perfect yourself, then you will get caught up in that as well, because you're just doing it for the numbers or the fame, but you're not really doing it because it's something that you want to do.
Yeah, that is so true, and I'm glad that you touched on you studying your IG live and me studying my podcast. That is a good point, because I remember the very first podcast I'm here, this was 2017. Prior to starting the very first podcast, and I said the very first live video I'm here, it was January 1st, 2017. I had thought about it years prior to that. But 2017, and I decided, say, I'm going to start it for the year. And into the 1st of January 2017, I remember I was in Chicago, and the very first video, because that was my first video, and the moment I call live, a lot of people got notified. So people wanted to come see what it's about. So the very first video, I had a whole lot of people watching it on YouTube, watching it on Facebook. But as time went on, the numbers started going down, and I didn't see that as a failure. I saw it more of a fear. Say, okay, I'll be a Chelsea, and I was getting a whole lot of audience. Now, why am I getting these low numbers? And then it was a discouraging moment for me at the point. But what I saw, and it said, when I look at the tree, I don't see a tree. When I look at the tree, I see a seed. I see a seed that has germinated into becoming a tree. And into whatever thing that you do in life, as John said, it's a process. You start from 1, and then you jump on to 2. You start from 2, and then you jump on to 3. But the most amazing thing about this process, and it said, so start 1 opens up the door for you to get to 2. In other words, so start 1. It teaches you a whole lot of things. It brings a whole new ideas into perspective. And as Manager on Edin Komono, I am not a big fan of social media, and to Instagram, and to be honest, I don't know how to use Instagram. But me decided to say, me host podcast series and this, it forced me to look into all these resources. So fear is good. It can serve as a distraction, but the fact that it's serving as a distraction shouldn't discourage you from pursuing whatever thing that you want to pursue, and I say prevent you from starting your own business or prevent you from just moving forward in life. So let's hear of other views and other opinions. How does fear serve as a distraction to you? Or has fear been a distraction to you at some point in life?
I feel like said one as soon as I kind of like beginning because when I was starting my business, now I've been thinking of like doing it like a long time, but now I'm dreaming who say, okay, when I started now, who is gonna buy? Because there's like a lot of shea butter or more shea butter, so they might like go for those people. Not so maybe like people gonna buy it.
Is that the reason why Oja is so below?
Oh, there be.
So below
we are waiting.
I know, right?
Oh, John Moore, I know I do. It wasn't, but I me dream horse. I say, okay, like who's gonna be my customer? Me have it that anxiety. We say, okay, who is gonna be customers? When if I want to talk, what if like me all this website now why the because so until And came in a process that one day with the metro and I said, no, I have to push, and then like whatever a go crap up, there be a make us same way or say, like, oh, your product may go crap 100 years, somebody will come back and like buy it. And it doesn't matter what you think or what other people will think, but and then they pushing me, mommy, but I was scared at the moment. Like, let me throw at first. I was having like too much anxiety. So, oh, Mr. Tia, nobody's gonna like buy it. So I think really, and then I Susan and John that kind of it.
That is good, and I'm glad say or start say I remember say me know the incomo behind closed doors about it, but I'm glad that you take the bold step. That's where I think it starts from. It all starts from you having the confidence to start. You don't have to know, say, and I say you don't have to ask yourself, am I going to succeed or not succeed? You just have to take that bold step, because I think, say, the greatest failure is the failure to try. So far as you tried it and you fail at it, as our sister said, it go 100 years, somebody can associate your name, say 17 and a year, X, Y, and Z. So you haven't even failed, because product go, and because of that, you have been exposed to other people for them to know you. See, that is good. That is good, say, or start here. But let's look at it from the African point of view. As Africans, do you think we react to our fears differently from the outside to the outside world? And I said, let's compare African and Americans. On said, abroad, they like to take steps. I didn't know Nim Krana, they would take the step to find out. But as Africans, now I said, you consider a whole lot of things. Why do you think that is the case?
I think so. I speak for myself. I feel so we don't like stepping out of our comfort zone. We like doing things like, I'm trying to figure out the English word to use. Like, let's just go. What's Susan?
We don't like change.
Yeah, we don't like
change. Yeah, they want to do like the same as that. Like, yeah.
We don't like change. So because of that, it's like whatever that we're around, whatever that we're accustomed to, we just follow suit. Like Americans, one thing about them is they'll try something. Yes. And if they try something, there's always a plan to it. Yeah, like for us, it seems like, okay, if Sabi's making shea butter, Mr. Jidko said, oh no, I'm gonna do something. And then so you haven't done the studies or done the research to do something. Brassamia podcast, just a John Kickery, so your podcast. I think like we like to do things that people are already doing to follow without like with the wrong intention. You're not doing it because you actually want to do it. You're doing it because they're making money, so I should try something. It's not a bad thing, but it's just your thought process. And with the more like American people, for example, they have a plan. They plan things out. We just jump into it without a plan. So I think that's one of the examples I'll give.
Okay, so in that aspect, what I would say, and I believe that rather than just following the path, start the path for somebody to follow. In other words, develop your own goal for somebody to use it as a goal. So why, yes, you end up helping people achieve their goal, but rather you not helping yourself. As John said, it be a nipano or planning or you're in research and or starting into the fact that we're jumping in all of a sudden doing the exact same thing. Maybe when you're research, you don't know the kind of preparations that takes place in the background. And if I am being honest with you, say, Miracle, the podcaster, you see the end product as a podcast, but it takes me literally 3 hours to record a single podcast. Because last week, for instance, I did The Fall of a Man, and with that one, Miracle, I last sentence for me to add, my system shut down. So I went back, did the same thing again, the exact same thing. Ebeka Bear, literally 30 seconds for me to end. A call came in and I had to end it and answer the call. So I repeated that process for like 7 times before finally I realized, say, okay, let me take a break. Let me distract myself and readjust and refocus and come back. Even doing that, when I came back, I realized, hey, my mistake. So I had to go back and readjust myself again. So it's a process. Do your own research, find out the preparations. The more you are prepared, the less easier it would be for you. If you are not prepared, when you fail the first time, you say you failed at it, so there's no need to pursue. And one thing about Young Africa for when it comes to the comfort zone now, a couple of people have touched on. One thing I've realized then is that, say you're free, Africa will drew America. Baby, I best settle. No, we want to stay there for the rest of our lives. I don't know if that is fear. I don't know if that is because we feel comfortable. I don't know if that is because we feel set. That is the only place we have to stay. It's the only African parent that if you the moment Africa say oh movie out panel, it turns into a whole it turns into a whole argument. But I'm glad that we did touch on the comfort zone. So if I do understand that correct, fear also distracts us from moving away from our comfort zones. If anyone has anything to add, any comments, let's hear it out.
I think that we're scared to fail. And perhaps, I mean, you and I have this conversation a lot. If you don't fail at, you don't know where to improve. You have to fail. Like
you need to fail at something.
Like it's and my dad said it's a must for you to fail.
Yes.
Like you have to, because anything we do in life, like you have to make a mistake. And then once you make that mistake, you're like, okay, next time I'll do this, next time I'll do that. I remember what was I doing? It was a resume I was doing for somebody, and I messed up bad. Like I was copying somebody else's resume, and I put the information to the resume.
And I'll charge you in Ipaniska. Yes, I'm mistaken.
So about John Kicker is at three revisions for free. So it unlimited revision. So anytime they end up So like and I say I messed, and the person was not happy. Like she was like, "Oh, I'm never doing you, blah 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 blah." And I think it was like my first or second resume. So the first time you gotta make sure to be on point. Yeah. After that, I almost say, you know what, John K. Careers is out of business. Yeah, we're finished. The way it hurt, because like it was a big mistake. Like I literally basically had somebody else's resume on her resume, just put her name. But I wasn't. Yeah. So it was a big deal. But after that, like it humbled me a little bit just to make sure that I double and triple check before I send it out. But if it wasn't for that, I would probably not go thoroughly and make sure that everything I did and everything I wanted goes through that way. But this is just one of many examples that once you fail at something, you learn something from it to help you later on.
So that is the whole point of failing. You fail to learn something. You don't fail to stay in failure. You fail to learn something. And then if you start something, you fail at it, you learn from it, you move on. One of the podcasts that I made, I think I touched on learning from our mistakes. We all make mistakes. The fact that what started BB now are failing, doesn't mean say Obi why BB are failing, is more important than you, and I said you are less significant than the person. We all fail at some point in life, but the greatest thing, and I said the most beautiful thing about failing, and it's it gives us the chance to learn. And as we learn, it gives us the chance to be better than what we were before we failed. So failure is good, whether it comes from fears, whether it comes from any other thing. Failing at something is good. That shouldn't distract you. That shouldn't distract you. So,
I was going to say. And I think one thing too, like we Africans, we care about what people say so much. Like we tend to focus in then a way back, then a way back, then a way back from home. And so that is one thing too that prevents us from taking breaks or like taking certain bold decisions. And also like obi kasem back one yeah, invite me back come like career obi a nurse and adaya and then it's kawum. And see majority of like the you ban them say we want to do nursing because that's what we've heard. That's what your parents are can't even if say you pay and po we're scared then ukasa okoye ejime to say yeah business obi be kasa na Columbus Ohio dear we school ejuma business onye ejuma just say until we listen to what people say a lot than what we want for ourselves. So that's one reason.
Okay, that is very very true, and I'm very happy say you did touch on that. And then see, when we look at fear and failing now, it's a ripple effect. In other words, it doesn't just affect you the individual; it affects those around you as well. It affects your friends, those who share the same ambitions or the same goals with you. It affects the people that want to push you to progress in life. And I'll give you an example. So, minimal girl be back in school. Now, on our neighbor school, no, her whole idea was to go into psychology, but it turned out say ne mame person a different course. The mom was able to convince the dad, and the dad also agreed with the mom. Say chinchina was a girl ne the other course other than psychology. And when we started classes, first semester was going pretty well. Second semester came, and I remember said my friend who was in the same class with the girl pursuing the course and the parents. I remember said one night, my roommate, who is my friend now, they were around there 2, 3 a.m. This girl called my friend and she was like, I need to submit this assignment. I haven't done it. I've tried as much as I can, but I'm failing at it. I'm getting it wrong. Can you help me? And the class for the day, was starting around 8. So my friend had to get up and run to baby a girl or more dormitory to help her figure out the assignment. So sitting there, and I was thinking, say, this is something that her parents probably didn't figure out. Say, I didn't also will be out there or banyanino, say, or mayan homework man, and also mebuano. So it just doesn't affect you, the individual. It affects those around you. Remember, imagine say Madam Finosore or Koya or Banyamin Fasa, my car born now. It has affected him, it has affected his family, it has affected those who loved him. So fear has a ripple effect to it. Failing also has a ripple effect to it. That is why when you are afraid of something, you just don't think about yourself. You consider how can you avoid that fear? How can you avoid that failure from distracting us, from affecting the individuals that are around you? So I'm glad we're all touching on these points. Let's hear from other people. I know we have Parkwasi on the line. We have Gloria. We have Sabatina, Janet, Isaac. Let's hear from you guys. What do you think of fear as a distraction?
I think that fear as a distraction, like, so sometimes, let's say like for me, it's like I want to go, excuse me, for, PT school. So it's like, like somebody, like people, it's like people that have probably like, been through the process and everything like that. It's like, and then, the GRE is so hard. The process, the GRE is so hard. You have to write this much essays. You have to do this. It's like
sorry to interrupt. Are these comments coming from our fellow Ghanaians, fellow Africans, or from other cultures, or not say other ethnic
If
groups.
I'm bring you down, they will bring you down. Yeah,
I think it's coming
That is
from
what I
just,
want.
yeah, I think it's coming from both, actually, to be
Both.
honest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely both, because I actually have, you know, like people, you know, that are African American who is like, they say, oh my God, yeah, it's so hard. It's, you know, it's like they say these things like that, and it's like it starts to put fear in you, and you're just like, it's like it makes you think twice, like, do I really want to do this? Because it's like it's a lot of steps and stuff like that. So I think that it definitely goes for both.
It's this person a PT now, or did she give up?
No, she's still in the process.
Okay, so if it's hard for her to do it, why is she still in?
I mean, it's just something that, you know, people are saying, but then it's just, you just have to, I feel like you just have to keep going, because you kind of talk to yourself and, you know, talk to God, because if, you know, it's a path that God really wants you to take, then you just don't, you know, it's like you don't let other people's comments, you know, stop you from becoming what you want to be, because it's like, you know, other people, like, you know, it's like, it's gonna make you feel some type of way, and it's gonna make you give up. Because it's funny, because I was actually talking to one of my friends, and he, you know, we both went to same undergrad, and he graduated last year, and he was supposed to be going into PT school. So I was talking to him today, and then he was just like, oh yeah, by the looks of it, he's just gonna go for PTA school instead of, you know, PT school. And it's kind of like, PTA school is an associate. It's like you literally went 4 years of undergrad to now go and be doing, you know, to now go back to go and be a PTA, which you're being
Oh, really?
paid. Yeah. So it's like now you're going back to, you know, first of all, to be paid less and to go for more, you know, like more school that you kind of didn't need. It's just like on PT school now, you know, it's like you would have definitely been so much better. So it's like, because it's like what and for in some sama like a bunabum, you know, it's like what class, it's like, oh, class near day, oh, say it's like he's just like, oh nah, I'm just gonna go for PTA school, which doesn't make sense. But it's like he's definitely had a lot of fear, which, you know, has put him where he's at right now.
That's a great example. Listening to people and following the leads of people, which I think it's the point that John Eddie kind of touched on. Said we like to do what everyone else is doing rather than doing something different. So I think nobody should be able to stop you from doing what you want to do, other than yourself. In other words, no, if you decide to pursue this route, the only person that should tell you you cannot pursue it should be yourself. The body will just do anything the mind tells it to. Fear is driven by the mind. So once you put that in your mind, say, I can't do this. Now, say, oh, I also confirm, say you can't do this because of reasons X, Y, and Z. Whatever you do, no, you've already failed yourself before starting it. Nobody should be able to discourage you. Nobody should be able to stop you from pursuing what you want to do. As I mentioned in the beginning, the greatest failure is the failure to try. You don't have to know, say you succeed. You don't have to be the best person for that route, but just be the right person for it. Just have the right mindset. Just have the right attitude. Just have the right action. Put in the right efforts, and you will definitely get there, because your attitude will determine your altitude. You see, whatever efforts you put into it will determine whatever results that you get in the end. If you listen to people, your results will be determined by people. If you listen to yourself, your results will be determined by yourself. So just keep going. So Gloria, I'm glad that you didn't listen to this person who feels that it's a hard route, but then she's stealing. If it's hard, the only solution is to get out of it. But the fact that you are stealing and trying to convince me to get out tells me not to listen to you or even care about what you're saying, but rather just keep going. So let's hear from another person. any other examples that we want to give? How does fear distract us? How does fear forces and also causes us to fail?
I would just like to say that it, it stops us from living out our full potential. I'm just gonna give
Okay.
an example. So like there's this class that I took. Like before I started the class, obviously everyone said it was hard and all
Was
that.
it Spanish?
No, fluid mechanics. I don't know if you guys know about fluid mechanics.
Right.
Okay, if it wasn't Spanish, that's good because I would discourage you from taking Spanish.
Me too.
It was
You
fluid
don't want to
mech.
get 8%.
Actually, some
I was
of us
50.
know languages, no, we are okay. We can learn Spanish, right?
Nyame mfa mo bɔne nkyɛ mo. Mr. Janet, mpakyɛ ɔto aso a.
So I took this class. I'll just say I mean I passed the class. But then mechanics I literally struggled with the class. And yeah, funny say like I'm solving a question, no. And then like Miss Shaw, before I started the class, I was afraid because I know that I need to pass this class, and everyone is saying that it's hard. And I mean the lecture as well. So what happened was that like the following semester I had to take another class.
Okay.
Is it I think hydraulics? And this was some because what's the day? But then like funny enough, I realized my problem before. Say I was afraid. I was literally afraid. And yes, I didn't hear you. Not me sure. Me like even said before, if I'm sitting in front of something and then I'm trying to study, I'm trying to solve a question. Like if I don't understand something, instead of looking for it, I just like practically just give up. But I realized that wasn't who I was or what I was. So like when I realized that, like I just tried to was there a class I was supposed to teach? And I was supposed to grade something for undergrad. I was grading a class and then I didn't have I didn't have Adobe Reader, I didn't have anything. I didn't know how to grade and everything. And then I was a bit worried because I didn't want my professor. My professor ended up buying a pen and everything for me. Like he had put so much effort into it, but I was still struggling to figure it out. So I just prayed about it and everything, and then God being so good, I was able to do it. So right now, like I just try to motivate myself. Like I mean, there's no turning back right now.
Okay,
So
that's good.
the only thing that I tell myself, I try to figure things out. If at that point in time, like when the fear comes into me, I just I try to calm myself down initially. I just calm myself down and then I talk to God small. And then I'm like, okay, so let's try this again in another way. Let's see. And then I try to encourage myself, say, like, I can do this. Like, even though people are saying it's hard, I know I can do this. And I'm not those people. You get it? So it's really wrong to start anything with fear. That's all I have to say.
Okay,
Actually,
that's
Janet, what's your major?
that's good.
I'm doing environmental engineering.
Oh, okay. Good.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad that one, it wasn't Spanish, and two, you didn't pass with a D minus. So that's very good. That's very good. But you did mention on something that was really interesting. You did say just giving up. Just giving up. You see, as individuals, sometimes when we go through such situations, we think that the only option is to just give up. We don't know why we're giving up, but we think so that is the best option for us at that moment. And as a lot of you might have heard of my almighty Spanish story, in that class, one thing that kept me going was the fact that my scores, though as bad as my scores were, it was still better than somebody's. So always look at it from rather than giving up, understand say there are individuals out there who are in worse situations than what you are currently facing. And if they are still going, you should also keep going. Whilst I had 8% thinking my 8% was the lowest in the class. The guy sitting next to me had a 5%. The following exam, whilst I had 15, he had 12. So that was my driving factor. So, okay, so me failing, I still have somebody failing behind me. So at the end of the day, I am in good shape. So that kept me going. So just don't give up. Find a reason to give up, and find a reason not to give up. Sorry. And whenever you want to give up on something, first think about why you started it in the first place, and let that be your driving factor to keep encouraging yourself and also to keep going. So, Sister Janet, I'm glad you didn't give up, and I'm glad.
I want to add something to what you just said.
Yes.
So about the fact that say you're doing better than someone. So there was this class that I was taking. But then it was like, so obviously I was doing better than other people. So in my head, the man is going to scale down. So at the end of the semester, the funny thing is that nothing. Like, he didn't do anything about the marks. He just I was so bored. Like I don't know. So like one thing you have to be aware of to say, like, if you can put in more effort, just do it. Because that time I think I was complacent. You get it? Because I was doing better than someone. I thought I was in a comfortable lead, but I wasn't. You get? Because at the end of the semester, he decided not to mind us at all. He didn't do anything. I think it is like 99 and something. So I was literally, so when the grading came out, I was so sad. So like in a situation like that, if you think you can put in more effort, just try and do it. Men can say I'm doing better than someone, so I'm okay. Like, I mean, it has happened to me and I regretted it. So
that's a great point to bring up. It's boiling down back to the comfort zone we talked about earlier on. So we get to this point, we feel say we're in a comfort zone. We feel we're in a comfortable league, and until there's no need for us to do something different, but rather just keep doing what we're doing. It's more of complacency, and complacency kills. It prevents you from learning. It prevents you from realizing there are other resources that you need to tap into, and it prevents you from even realizing the need to progress, because baby I will draw no one say into the piano person you have to keep pushing yourself. You have to keep going. I remember now me working on a boarding school. Yeah, teacher bako say you drew prep na ebi a usua de na wada oba no abenya no aka say keep studying, there's more sleep after death. Keep studying, there's more sleep after death. So yeah, near was school money there. That was something that kept us going. Into offer book now, even that crown now. When himself die, teacher say wake up and keep studying because there's more sleep after death. So always keep going, keep pushing yourself hard. Don't settle for one particular place. Just keep going. Even if you are at the point where you feel say you are okay in life, there's still room for improvement. There's nothing wrong with learning. The greatest asset that you can have is your knowledge. So keep adding on to your knowledge and just keep going. Don't give up. Any other stories, any other comments for us to share before we move
on? I think to touch upon the complacency part of it is when you say that you get comfortable where you're at. I think that's what kind of shapes you from the next person, is not to ever be comfortable. I always use myself as an example. Like once I get to a point in anything I'm doing, if I'm like, okay, I'm good, and then something else happens. Like for example, with my business page, people are starting to do reels. I mean, yeah, that. So I was like, well, time to learn how to do reels. Not because I'm trying to fit in, but I know that that's something that will benefit me or that will help me in my business or help me in whatever I'm trying to do. So just understanding that you're never done, like you're never finished, and just keep pushing and keep like trying to learn new things and keep pushing yourself, because like somebody's looking at you. Somebody's looking at Brad Sammy's podcast. Like, oh, I want to do a podcast once I get to that point. or Sabatino with your shea butter, or whatever we're doing. Though somebody's looking at us to be, oh, when I go to high school, I'm trying to be a track star like Gloria. So whatever you're doing, just if you have the mindset that somebody's always watching you to try to emulate you or be better than you, then it kind of keeps you motivated to keep pushing on.
Yeah, that's true. That's one thing I think of what you said. One thing stood out. Let's keep motivating one another. Let's be the support for one another. So I think last week or the week before that, I got a message on Instagram from somebody that I probably, to be honest, far from a youth member. Mehyia nipa na just be a call program or something, and I can even count the number of times that so that tells my relationship with the person. But nipa send him a message on Instagram said, I did a podcast, I think that week podcast I'm here, I forgot. I think that was the life we live or something. And even message or send it, it was more of say when see that podcast, at that moment, she wouldn't know the action that she would have taken because she was going through a whole lot at that moment. And listening to her and I say reading her message, I felt say at least I have saved somebody from going through and I say from taking the wrong decision. And that has been my motivating factor from that instance. I know I release the podcast every Sunday, but the moment I started thinking, say, can I do it twice a week? If so, let me find myself time and balance things out so I can do it twice a week. So let's keep motivating one another. Let's keep being the resource for one another. One thing about a next generation, and it said, so you who said obi bibia, rather than supporting the person, we tend to criticize the person. We tend to bring down the person. But I think that if you don't want to add to this world, you might as well not take from the world. Obi yeah dear. Now, if you don't want to support or motivate the person, you might as well not discourage the person from doing what they are doing, because what they are doing, you never know. It might save a life. What they are doing, it might push somebody to also do something for themselves. So let's keep supporting one another. Let's keep motivating one another. That is a good point.
Sorry, can I still talk?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
This is like, I don't know, but then it's not like I think so fierce more, but then it's just like a testimony for me.
Okay.
One thing about the fear is like thinking about the aftermath. So baby, I'm here, Juma one. They changed our boss, so we got like a new manager. And when she came in, my schedule was wrong, and then I told her that like I can't come to work this day and that day. It's like I confronted her, like you get it. I mean, when before I came, I had like my other manager. He was like, I should make sure that I come early. I should give like a good first impression. But when I came, it was like I was like, I'm not coming. Like I just told her that I can't come. I'm not coming. You get it. So like we started off and a very wrong note. And then like after some time and everything. But then glory be to God. Today she wasn't even supposed to come to work, but she came to work. And then when she was leaving, she gave me a gift. She was like, "Oh, happy what? Happy Vows Day." I was so shocked.
Vows Day, it's not when you gift me.
Pre-Vows Day gift.
Pre-Vows Day gift. That's
I know, but like I was really overwhelmed. But then like after the first I was getting scared. I was like, actually, because the way I said it, it's like I don't know whether I was too forward or I was too bold, but I had to say it because in the end, it will end up affecting me. I was like, I'm not coming to work. I'm not coming to work. This. I can only do this. You get it. But then God being so good, like. So I was thinking about the fear. Maybe I might lose my job, or some people too. They are so submissive. I don't know the exact words to it. Like they consult to people, so much people in authority, because almost Jane said, yeah, I don't know, but it's always good to, because I was afraid that anything could have happened. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Out of the fear. I think I'm talking too much, but then
No, you're
that's
not.
just so. So I just want to thank God for it, because
Okay.
and when it comes to like the job thing that I was saying, like just do your part, like just do what you can. If you are doing, like just do what you can do. Man, some people are so, it's good to be submissive and all that, but then make sure that you have an opinion. You get it?
Mhm.
Like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
wanted to say something and
Yes.
to add on to
Let's.
what Janet. I think that's very true, and I think when most Africans, we do have that thing, like especially we don't know how to say no. We try to please people, or we're scared to voice our opinion until like be like be beside for moi, and you're not able to assist them. We feel so when we say no, like only pan because they get, and I'm a victim of it. Like mostly when people ask me for favors and stuff, it's hard for me to like speak up and say, oh no, I can't do it. Like, and then I realized that no, like I'm hurting myself, because in free my comment, like I end up doing this stuff and in free my comment because I was not like available to do it, but I couldn't say no because I had this fear. I said, because I said, oh, like me Timo day, and I said, like, what would they say? What would they say? And when it comes to like Ejime Musa, like or supervisor or your BB and now there's a like a colleague or your BB, you don't like it. Instead of you voicing up, like we just scared and now like I don't know why we're like that, but we just really just care to voice our opinion on issues. So like especially in like a perfect example here, even if we're having like YPG discussion or Bible studies, you ask people to like, what's your contribution or what do you have to say? Most people are scared to talk, but a more contribution to give up, but they're just scared to talk. So mostly when someone say, oh, the environment is kind of like, like, you're free, or BI is not judging them maybe based on their accents, and that's they're not making them feel stupid. And that's when almost said they are like they are relaxed to talk and ask to say something.
That is all the points are very, very good points that we've all touched on. So last week we did understand that fear is part of our emotions. And then everyone has something that they're afraid of. That is natural. You just can't drive it away. It's part of us. It's how we choose to express ourselves. How when we come into a situation, it's either you fight that situation or you flight away from that situation. So fear is part of our emotions. But from what has been said now, no, that means that fear also causes us to please people. The fear of saying no, the fear of feeling that you have disappointed other people, the fear of feeling that you weren't able to meet the needs of other people. But let's think about it this way: you can't give what you don't have. If you don't have the strength to provide for somebody, if you don't have the strength to provide for yourself, how then do you have the strength to provide for somebody? If you don't have inner peace within yourself, if you don't have the self-love for yourself, how do you go on to love others? How do you go on to give peace to others? And it's good that we brought up this point. Say we always want to please people. You cannot please everybody. The world is so much with different people that you cannot please. Who please the A? B Becca said you're not pleasing them. Who please the A and B? C Becca said you're not pleasing them. So you always have to understand that you cannot please everybody, but just do your best in your capacity to help as much as you can. But don't say you want to please everybody. If that is the case, you will end up living for people rather than living for yourself. So these are all good points that we are mentioning. Let's take a couple more comments and bring it to an end for the day. So the topic for those of us that just joined us, what we are discussing today is fear. Does fear serve as a distraction? And I say, how does fear serve as a distraction? let's hear of your opinions. Okay, since the year just started, prior to the year starting, we all had New Year resolutions for ourselves. As part of thinking through these resolutions, what was one thing that we thought said could prevent us from achieving these resolutions? What was one thing that we were so much afraid of that we felt it was going to prevent us from pursuing our resolutions for the year 2021?
For me personally, I would say it's being consistent and self-discipline, because sometimes obeshas are very good, like especially with school shots here, exams, everything. It's okay. So I think I get relaxed and be like, oh, okay, me, okay, my grades are okay. Then I stop being consistent. I stop being like self-disciplined. I start giving excuses, especially excuses. I think that's the main thing. And later on, it start to fall apart. And sometimes it's too late to do anything about it, because semester na end, summer bad and it's over. Summer dreary. I couldn't get into shape or something. So I think it's being consistent and also excuses and self-discipline. So yeah.
Okay, so consistency, excuses, self-discipline. Okay, I think Brother Jevin Eka said resources. If you can talk, can you touch on that? What do you mean by resources? If resources was your fear factor for the year. Oh, okay, you are aware. Okay, all right, I understand it. So for those of us on the line, how can having access to resources be a fear for us? And I say, how can we not having access to resources cause us to be afraid? If you've ever been in that situation. I don't want to touch on. Oh, okay. I was asking if Brother Jevin said resources was one thing that served as a fear factor for him, especially in 2021. And then I was asking how can lack of resources cause us to be afraid to pursue our ambitions or our goals?
I would say money could be a resource if you want to.
I think that's the huge thing.
Yeah, because if you want to do something that and you don't have the funds to do it, and then it's gonna share. You can't do it. If you want to open a business, how you gonna open a business with no money? So that can be a problem. But on the flip side, you can start from home. You can start doing something at home and start from there. But sometimes you have to have a place, or you have to have a certain type of money to get to where you want to go. I remember there's this guy on Clubhouse that I reached out to, and he helps like people like with online businesses or whatever. So like he say, oh, I can scale your business to whatever amount. And I know I did it and it worked. So
is that why you've been sending messages to people on Snapchat?
Hey, Pacho, it's not me. I beg. It's not me. I promise.
To double money for them.
It's not me. But so I DM'd him. I was like, oh, I heard that this and that, this and that. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, thanks for reaching out. So I told him what I was looking for and what my goal was. And the price that he gave me for his class, I was like, is this for one class or is this for the whole thing? I was like, you offer free services?
To take in that class, you gotta be Amazon boss.
He was like, no. He's like, no. The sign up fee, is $2,000 to be on the wait list.
Sign up fee.
Sign up fee to be on the wait list.
Would I be taking that class?
On just the sign up fee.
Hey, $2K, and then everything above that, the classes, whatever. I think the class was like $10K for the business class or whatever. I was like, okay. Do you have any other? He's like, oh yeah, but so if you can't do that right now, I have the same package. It just you don't get one-on-one sessions. I'm not saying that same. I said $2,000, but I'm gonna get sale for bed 1,900. I'm like, my son, why?
John, please
It's
watch
okay.
YouTube.
I'm like, it's okay. But the reason why it's funny is because like, if I had that type of money just sitting there, I would do it because what I'm gaining from that is 10 times more than the money that I'm actually paying for it. But so like what German said, money can be a big issue because if you want to get to this point, you have to spend money to make money. So
you have to invest in yourself.
You have to invest in yourself. So it's not 2K, no, I would pay it. But we be echoing this kind of shit. So if you have an income tax about it, but you see what you have to.
Yes. So that is a good point. And I'm glad that you took it in that direction. That's what I was looking forward to. You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest even if it's not money, whatever route you decide to pursue. There are times you have to sacrifice your sleep. You have to sacrifice going out with your friends. You have to sacrifice staying at home to enjoy the meals that you love. You just have to invest in yourself. What you invest in yourself today will be the payout for tomorrow. So you have to invest in yourself. But it also goes down to what we initially touched on. And I said, doing your own research, finding out from people, learning from other people, reaching out to other people, do your own research and let that help you to invest in yourself. Susie, were you gonna add something to it?
No.
Okay. Is anyone going to add anything? Any comments?
Brashami, I think I'll just add a little bit of what John said. Sometimes investing yourself is good, but the problem is, let's say, in terms of capital, as John was saying, how then are you going to invest in yourself?
Okay.
Sometimes that one you have to take into consideration because for example, John really wants to invest in himself so that people can say the kind of course not taken. So the outcome will be even greater than what he's paying now. You see, but he doesn't have the money.
Okay.
So in that situation, how are you going to go about it?
Okay, good point. And it's in that situation, I think that and we said pursuing an ambition, pursuing a goal is a process. It's part of the reason why you need to do research. It's part of the reason why you need to find out what that field entails. You know, say you want to, for John, in your example, you know, say you want to start your own business. Don't just wake up one day and say, I'm starting a business today. Think of it. Go through the thought process. Find out, say, okay, if I want to take this class, it's going to cost me anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000. Okay, then let me keep planning myself. Let me keep saving. So once I get that money, maybe reschedule yourself for the following year or two. There's no rush to it. Start saving towards it. Once you get it, you start. The fact that Obia starting a day and I say Obia doesn't mean say chinchina unim says kamuni. Doesn't mean say chinchina ko force apply for credit card na faculty course or not a faculty for that class. Take time, do your own research, save towards that, and use that to reinvest in yourself. Because said John Kai, says what as savings as costly as that class may be, he's sure. So when you invest this kind of take a class new year, the outcome will be greater. How he knows that the outcome will be greater is because he has done the research to know that it's legit. He's done the research to know that the outcome is really indeed valuable, provided he puts in his best efforts. So yes, you may not have the resources now, but it doesn't stop you from saving. It doesn't stop you from putting together certain things that will put you in the place to have the resource later on in life. On say a youth, and I'm one of your members be doing como. And I was telling this person, say they need to start saving now. Now, no, not doing say, oh, say, what's the man in chain, what's the papa in chain, and my man is scar, and he's okay. And then I asked him, do you have a girlfriend? He said, yes. Do you love your girlfriend? He said, yes. Does your girlfriend love you? He said, yes. Are you guys in preparations to get married at some point? He said, yes. And I asked him, if say, see, our mamina, Emma Uska, what makes you think, say, more worry, our mamina, Emma Uska, your wife? So you have to start saving. Whatever thing that you have ahead of you, start saving towards it. And the earlier you start saving, you will thank yourself later on for what you've done. So save. And there's a difference between the things you need and the things you want. In this generation, we feel say we need everything. We feel say we have to get the best of the best shoes, the best of the best phones, the best of the best, whatever thing you want to buy. You have to save now, and your future self will thank you for that. So, any other comments? Anything to add? Anything to subtract? Anything to clarify on? If there's nothing to add or no comments coming in, I want to thank you guys so much for joining in today. I really appreciate that a lot. I really appreciate that. Next week, same time, we will meet again. And the topic that we are discussing next week is dealing with obstacles. Dealing with obstacles. So let's all think about what we're going to say. If we have personal examples that we'd like to share, let's keep that in mind and come back here next week and share our thoughts. Once again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a blessed week and God bless you all so much. Good night tonight.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Christabel. Good night, Sister Janet. Christabel, good night, the Wabeka.
I know, right?
Hey, you're right. This is Mr. Way. That's something. Me buy no more can say we ain't in a man catching.